Migrants being scapegoated for every social problem.
That sex, race and class are the key questions, and these are the key oppressions.
They then control what it is that you can say. I don't believe that cancellation in general is all that bad.
And we need a revolution because the current system is shit.
I can't hear you when you walk away. Good afternoon everyone, my name is E Speaks Freely, welcome to Vox Populi, and today we are out in central London, and just behind me is a massive protest. It's just been a march, they're all gathering now, socialist workers, Free Palestine, communist supporters, the lot. I've literally just had someone come up to me and tell me to support communism, and when I asked them why, they said because we need it, and that was their only reason. So I'm hoping to find out a bit why people are here today, hopefully have some nice non-confrontational conversations, but you never know. You might notice that I haven't got the Vox Populi flag on. We are trying to remain somewhat undercover for the first half of the protest, and then if things start to pick up, I'm going to pop the flag on, and I don't know, because I feel like that's probably the best way that people are going to actually answer some questions and get into some conversations. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a nice non-confrontational day, but you never know with these lot, to be honest with you. So
I've spent the last few years since leaving college watching the division in this country. Migrants being scapegoated for every social problem ever caused. No matter what, it seems to be blamed on them. So I've come out here from Manchester, came down on a coach this morning with a few like-minded people, because we're sick of just standing by and watching. We can't stand by and do nothing. People out here, trans people, disabled people, are facing a fight for their lives against this government. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is good people do nothing. So how can any of us be complicit in doing nothing?
let's see if they want to answer some questions. Excuse me, guys. Hiya. I was just wondering if I could ask you a few questions about what you got going on here.
Ask further along, they'll help you out.
I did. They didn't want to answer either.
There you go.
Okay. Would you like to say anything, sir? No? It's just, I had a little look at, there's a Christian gathering going on down there, and I'm kind of trying to do like a, compare the two, do like a coverage of the day. Excuse me, I was just wondering if I could ask you a few questions about what you got going on here.
Not particularly.
Sorry, I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions about all the stuff. If you're up for it. And what's stand up against Tommy Robinson?
Yeah, stand up to racism.
Sorry.
Can we just ask, who are you?
Vox Populi.
Can you describe a bit more about what that is?
Citizen journalism.
Any particular angle, or?
Just like to find out what you guys are standing for.
What's your angle?
My angle is asking you questions.
It's not necessarily a very loaded thing. It's just obviously there's the rise of the far right, etc., etc. So we're always interested to find out who's asking the question.
Okay, that's fair enough. What do you deem as far right?
What do you deem as far right?
Deem far right as actual racism, homophobia, that kind of thing. But I think that some people maybe call it racism when it's not necessarily racism. What do you deem as far right?
So you'll have to excuse me because we were just in deep conversation. I'm trying to find something out.
I'm here because, well, it's all a bit bad. This sign used to be sold in the Holocaust Museum in the US. It's a step-by-step list of things to keep an eye out for on the rise of fascism. They stopped selling it. It's not that hard to see with what's going on currently, globally, locally. Things aren't good. It feels like nobody really watched any of the war documentaries growing up. Nobody paid attention to the lessons, and the few lessons we had in school were not useful at all.
Do you not think that there are any problems or any truth when people say that there are problems with immigration or that biological women need to have single-sex spaces? Do you not think that there is any truth or any reason to that argument?
As far as immigration, are there difficult decisions that need to be made? Yes. Is there a possibility that somebody that comes in may be a danger to others? Is that possible? Yes, of course. But does that mean every single person that comes here fleeing persecution and violence at home deserves to be tarred with that same brush? I don't believe it can. How can we see women and children fleeing here from war-torn countries?
Have you seen any women and children? It just seems to be a lot of men on the boats.
Several women and children.
Several out of thousands.
Not just out of thousands. In my personal experience, being from Manchester, so there was a protest rallied by largely Reform UK against the hotel housing asylum seekers in Altrincham just a few weeks ago. And who was being housed there? There weren't young men. There were families there. Families facing crowds outside chanting to send them back. And we believe those people deserve the same dignity as anybody born here, anybody born anywhere deserves the right to dignity and respect in their life.
Yeah, now I think that's a very interesting point, because people should have the same dignity and respect as other people. I think that's why a lot of people in this country, a lot of British people, are feeling cast aside because we don't have, it seems, the same dignity as someone who's coming across on the boat and getting a free ride. They get finances, they get a mobile phone, they get public transport paid for, and we're leaving our own pensioners to freeze in the winter. Do you not think that that's a problem?
Absolutely I do, and that's why we're out here today, to end austerity now. The problem isn't people fleeing war-torn, ravaged countries. The problem is the people in Westminster that choose to arm Israel, that choose to fund a genocide and an apartheid rather than looking after their own people, looking after the people who are here who need us. There's no way that we can justify removing the winter fuel payment from pensioners, doing harm not just to the elderly, to the young and to everyone in this country. So the focus of today's demonstration has been on standing up to racism, standing up to a Labour government that has completely abandoned the labouring people they were elected for.
I'm here to really make a point about the disproportionate impact of austerity on women. We know from all the data that it's women that have suffer most by public sector cuts, by all the welfare issues, by just the general sexism that happens in the society that we're living in. And so a lot of the impact of these cuts fall on the women. We're the carers, we're the parents, the lead parents and so on, and we suffer from things like cuts to rape crisis services and so on. So a lot of disabled women as well are suffering really badly from the welfare cuts, and we think that often women's voices aren't heard enough in the question about austerity, so that's why we're here.
So who do you think are the big fascist driving forces at the moment to be worried about?
Oh, Farage, Jesus Christ. Farage, Trump, Musk. There are a lot of nasty players out there.
But would you not see, things like Elon Musk, for example, just an example to Elon Musk. One of the things with fascism is controlling the media and not allowing people to have their say. Now, obviously, Elon Musk gave X, the platform, to the people so that they could say what they want. So is that not the opposite of fascism?
It's a private company. We all signed the same NDA. I deleted it because they then control what it is that you can say. As soon as you sign away your life on that dotted line of I agree, you're agreeing to their terms of communication.
Sorry, could you say that last little bit again?
It's okay. As soon as you sign your name on the dotted line, the I agree button, it means that you can be kicked off. You can be stripped of your voice. The only way that we're able to talk is openly.
Yeah. What do you think is the main contributor to that at the moment? Why do you think it is women that are mainly affected?
Well, because women are underpaid, overworked, we're used by society to do all the jobs that they don't want to pay people a decent wage to do, and these are things that have to happen. Children need bringing up, people need caring for, elders need caring for, and women historically have always been, our work has been undervalued and, like I say, underpaid. So we're constantly in a struggle to get decent maternity rights, to get proper childcare, and it is always, even with the changes in attitude, it's still mainly something that falls to women to have to deal with. So whenever you start cutting money, it's the women who are at the kind of the hard edge of those cuts, because we're the ones that are dealing with those issues in society.
Do you think it could be fair to say that it's more of a class issue than a sex issue? Because obviously, I mean, we do have a lot of men in jobs that women typically don't do. For instance, soldiers, and we know how soldiers get treated typically. And do you think that it could be more of a class thing than a gender or sex thing?
Right, I think that sex, race and class are the key questions, and these are the key oppressions. Yes, I agree with that. But in all of those groups, if you take class, or if you take issues of race, or if you take sex, it will be the women in each of those groups that are suffering disproportionately. So I take your point about sex, race and class, but within all those strands, it will be the women who are the hardest hit.
But I mean, on X, we're seeing people arrested for tweeting and things like that. But not just on X, we're seeing people, that's happening on Instagram, YouTube, other platforms. People are being cancelled. So do you disagree with cancellation in general?
I don't believe that cancellation in general is all that bad. I think a conversation needs to be had between human beings. I do have to ask, how many of us actually chose to be born? I'm not sure about yourselves, but from my perspective, the answer is none of us chose to be here. So why are we trying to make this place horrible and awful for the very few? Why aren't we trying to make things better for everyone?
Well, what would be your version of making things better? What would be if you had the power to? What would be the first thing you do? A government policy, perhaps. What would be the first big thing to change?
We don't need a nuclear warhead. We don't need nukes. We don't need a massive military. If you want to go into the world of military, we are not a big key player. If you want to look at the big key players of Europe, you've got France, you've got Poland. We're not there. We're a support act. So why are we funding more money to go towards a support act? War's not good. What benefit does it bring other than death?
So I'm seeing a lot of stop the far right signs as well. What would you deem as far right?
Sorry?
What would you deem as far right?
Anti-intellectualism. Sometimes the curtains are just blue. Bollocks.
Sorry, what did you say?
Sometimes the curtains are just blue, or just red, or however those lines are said. It's a way of deconstructing people's ability to think about things deeper. Why did the poet or the writer write the curtains to be flowing red in that way? Is it for particular things? So sometimes they're just red. It's cutting down intellectual thought.
I was also just wondering if I could ask you, so I'm seeing a lot of different signs. I'm seeing ones for Palestine, I'm seeing ones for NHS, I'm seeing ones for communism, I'm seeing ones for stop the far right. Are they all in connection to the same thing, or is it just kind of an amalgamation, people gathering?
I mean, it's an open call by the People's Assembly, and the message is stop austerity, stop the cuts. I think there's a clear message about we want welfare, not warfare. We don't want our money, our taxes going to fund foreign wars that we shouldn't be fighting, and the bombing of Gaza, for example, and all the wars that we're involved in. So it's a general call to anybody that wants to come that agrees with those messages. I'm sure there's lots of different groups here.
Okay, I am here in Parliament Square, and there is a Christian gathering going on, some lovely music playing. I'm just trying to find out why people are here today. So why are you guys here today?
Oh, we are here today to worship Jesus, to let the whole world know that Jesus is the Son of God, that Jesus left his glory in heaven and came down to earth only to suffer and die for us.
Yeah.
Took our sins to the cross. Yes, that we may be saved from sin. Wonderful. I'm here today because I just want to join other believers to worship, because I'm usually by the Houses of Parliament 6 days a week. So when I heard that other believers are coming here, I was excited, because usually here is a ground for protest. So to know that something good is coming, something different to protest is coming here. So I decided to come over. I've been over there for about 3 hours to come over here, just to take the ground for Jesus, and also to let our voices be heard across there, to percolate into the Houses of Parliament, though to touch the ministers, those our leaders, hopefully by the grace of God, because I want to change in this nation. This is Judeo-Christian heritage. We've taken it for granted. We need to take back the ground, take back this nation before the enemy takes it.
Do you think that Christianity is under threat in this country at the moment?
Very much under threat, even amongst our leadership. There are people that want to take it over. They're determined, and they've been fighting us. And our prayer is that particularly the indigents, like yourself, would rise up, would wake up, and say, this is our nation. This is a Christian nation.